I made a desktop app with 3,000 lines of code in one night for a school project because I had been procrastinating on it for months before. Now, I had been working on it here and there before, but like a solid 2,700 lines of code were made and tested in that one night, just before the exhibition of the project was due. So here's what I've learned. You see, I got this idea for this app. This is an app over here called Mia, Math is Art, from a YouTube video called Math is Art. It was just a video with a bunch of mathematical graphs, as you can see over here, that are just displayed in a very beautiful way. And so my idea when I saw that video was to just put it into a desktop app and just display the graphs as you can see here. And so I thought, how hard can that be? It's not going to be that difficult. I can just put in the equation for the function and the computer is just going to display it on its own. Or worst case scenario, I'll just take a few screenshots. It doesn't matter. I can forget about it. That was in October and the deadline is about in January. So okay, I'm kind of justified in delaying it. That's fine. I created a little timeline for myself in November. I thought it was going to be so simple, in fact, that I kept delaying it constantly on and on to the point that in November and in December I actually didn't get anything done. So I didn't do nothing for the entirety of the 2 months. I got some basic UI, like this basic kind of tab structure. And then there was the last week of the deadline where I realized that I didn't even have the correct graphs ready. I thought, okay, getting like 50 to 100 graphs is not going to be that difficult. So I collected as many graphs as I could, and there's maybe like 56 graphs in here, or 78, I'm not sure, whatever. And the thing is, I was also intending to add an AI search feature. As you can see over here, I just looked up explosion and it gives me some pictures like explosion, big bang, shockwave, these kind of things. And so the day before the exhibition of the app, I had barely anything done. And so I sat down, the time was about 10 p.m. and I told myself, I have to get this done. And I just went fully like crazy on it. I didn't drink any energy drinks or anything like that, so I just did it raw. So many features, so much testing, so many errors that I had to fix all in one night for it to just work like this. This little scroll feature itself, I remember how much time it took me to ensure that it doesn't glitch out. And look at this. When you go up, it still goes like this. You see this? It's still like, it's not perfect still, but at least it doesn't bug out. And so the AI search feature, I had to fix it too. I had to ensure that I installed the correct large language model, that it was integrated properly, that it could properly detect the keywords that I would put in for each graph, everything. And the fact is that I didn't actually remember how to make a desktop app. Like, I had taken a few courses in an IT academy about how to build a desktop app, but I took them a year back and they were kind of introductory courses. So I would have to literally learn how to code while the deadline was due, like next day, right? Even in a few hours still, like it's 8 hours from now and I have to figure out how to do this. Looking up YouTube tutorials how to do it, asking ChatGPT how to do it, and literally learning on the spot. And when I looked at the time in the end of all of this rush, it was about like 5 a.m. I stayed up the entire night to do this thing, which kind of taught me that not following a set timeline of steps can be very bad. Because it was an assignment, probably that's easier because you have to get it done and you can just focus in. But I had my own side projects that I was doing in my own spare time. I had a website that I wanted to launch and get users on. And if I did the same thing with that, I would just continue procrastinating because there's no set deadline for myself. You know what I mean? I create the deadline so I can just extend it forever and forever. So yeah, like, did I stop procrastinating after that? No, but at least I managed to have stricter deadlines for myself. But staying on a steady timeline for my app was just one lesson because I went to sleep and I woke up like 1.5 hours later. I started preparing myself and I booted up all of my code from my computer, from my desktop to my laptop, and then I would go and just present it and show to people how beautiful it was. And okay, I arrive at the station with my little laptop with all of the other exhibition decorations. I set the laptop down, I open it and I try to boot it up and it doesn't work. There are literally errors straight away. It's like 8:34 a.m. and at 9 I'm going to present. And so like, okay, I start looking up all of the things that I might have done wrong. I try to install the necessary libraries like TensorFlow, Hugging Face, whatever the hell you can imagine. It takes ages to install. I can't wait for it to install, especially because TensorFlow and Hugging Face are fairly large for some goofy laptop running on school Wi-Fi. And the exhibition starts, they walk in, and it doesn't work. The libraries are halfway in installing. I cannot get it to work, and I'm just standing there like an idiot, just like, yeah. So you know maths, right? It's pretty cool, even though everybody doesn't like it, right? And so I'm over here with my little code that's just not working with like a little red error message. Now that very stupid experience taught me that I have to prepare for the project's launch. In this case, it was just showing it to people, but in my side project, I would be showing it to the entire world, right, online. And I can't just have it be sloppy or rushed or anything like that to make sure that the launch is polished too. if that makes sense. But okay, eventually I got it fixed and I got it booted up. Some time has already passed, so many people that walked by my station are already not going to come back. But now my application is finally working. It is showing all of the graphs that it is needed to show. And so I started displaying to people, look at this. This is how mathematical functions work. And then I start scrolling through them and I tell them, which one do you like? Which one do you like? And then they're like, oh, that one, that one. And then I click on that one. And then I want to show them how you can zoom in. Like, for example, over here, you choose one. And oh my God, this perspective is very bad. But like the idea was that you can zoom in on the graph or vary the graph. 5 over here. This is zooming out. This is highly zoomed in. And essentially, I would show them these things and some of the graphs would literally not work. I would try to change it up and then I would click and then the graph would just go away. And I would literally have to mid-explanation just click off and act like nothing happened. Just be like, oh, what's your next one? What's your next and then click on something different. One thing that did go well was exploring this Mandelbrot set though. I would let people choose a color theme, like for example, something over here, and then show them the very beautiful graph of the Mandelbrot set where you could just zoom in forever. That was kind of cool. And so that didn't teach me anything new per se, but it reinforced the idea that you should prepare for your launch and you shouldn't procrastinate. As much as being the all-nighter demon sounds appealing because you do kind of save time, right? Like, okay, I did have errors, but people didn't really notice those errors. And I don't think it actually affected my grade in any way. But at the same time, if this is something that I actually care about, not some stupid assignment, then it's something that I want to put my effort in. Then it's something that I want to prepare the launch of because I'm trying to get users. I'm trying to make this blow, right? This thing that I'm doing on the side, unlike an assignment that I'm just going to forget about. And by the way, I got a 5 out of 7 on it, if you're curious. That's my mark. Hopefully that was helpful for you, even if just a little bit. Now, if you're building an app on the side and you don't want to end up quitting it like me, and I've quit many, then I suggest you try Stellar AI to help you code a better app. The link is in the description. You can go sign up for free now.